Hey, good morning, Milwaukie Lutheran Church, and welcome to worship. If you're watching the worship video this morning, doing something a little bit different this week, and maybe the only week, hopefully, right? We don't have to go back to virtual worship again after the Omicron fiasco. But breaking the announcement video out from the worship video, just in case you don't watch the worship video, you'll at least see the announcement video, which I think most everybody is interested in, even if you're not a big fan of the virtual worship stuff. So, anyways, that's what's going on. Let's talk business real quick. The budget informational packet went out last week via email. You should have all gotten a physical packet by now. If you haven't received one by Monday, let us know. Either get a hold of me or Stephanie in the office, and we can arrange a pickup of a packet so that you've got one in advance of the semi-annual meeting coming up next Sunday. So yeah, that's that. Also, yes, we're back in person next Sunday, and I just also wanted to say again a word of thank you for your forbearance and caution and patience with all of this. Just looking at the COVID cases today, and it looks like we're down the steep downslope of the Omicron bump. And I would like to believe that the things that we've done, including closing the building for several weeks, contributed um, to the gentleness of that curve, so to speak. I think all the little things that we do make a difference, and so I appreciate your patience and your caution and your efforts in that regard. So, yep, we're going to be back in person next Sunday, the 13th. Our semi-annual meeting will follow at 11 to 15ish, immediately following the 10 a.m. service. That also means that Sandy Nelson's memorial is still scheduled for February 12th. That's Saturday at 11 a.m. as well. So I hope you can make both of those events. Last week, I sent out a video which was like my State of the Church address, and I have heard through the grapevine that some of you have had problems accessing that video. If you do have problems and you would still like to see that, let me know, and I can either help walk you through the process of getting onto YouTube and seeing YouTube videos, or potentially find another way for you to access it. But also in the future, at some point, potentially, hopefully for this next Sunday, that will come out in a written format somehow. Maybe just bullet points. I don't know that I'm going to type out that entire. I think it ended up being like a half-hour conversation, but I'll put together bullet points of the things that I highlighted. The big bullet points that I just want to mention right now as part of that is just kind of plans for Ash Wednesday and Lent. Is that here are the highlights. We will have an Ash Wednesday service in person. We're flirting with potentially changing the time of that. It's traditionally our Lenten services have been at 7. We're thinking about moving it up to something like 5 p.m. I know that might make it harder for the working folks, but to be fair, traditionally it's been our non-working folks that have primarily come for the Lenten services. And kind of the reasoning behind this is that it can happen while it's not dark out is a big part of it. And I feel like it's just maybe we might get more people if it's at 5 p.m. But you'll get information about that. One of the things that we're going to be doing is drive-by ashes. That will be happening on Ash Wednesday, and it will be in the middle of the day. So Linda Smith and I are going to be organizing that, and it will be at the church from something like 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. And we'll do it out in the drive-by section of the front of our church. So you'll be able to drive up through the kind of handicapped access place there, get ashes on your forehead, and then drive off. That's the plan. The other thing we're looking at doing is I need to get together with the Springs yet, but doing ashes at the Springs, since we've got so many folks over there. So that's Ash Wednesday. There will be Lenten evening services, and again, the time hasn't been quite nailed down yet. But the theme that we're going to go with for this year is types of prayer in time of pandemic. And it's not so much actually about the pandemic. I just like the alliteration. Maybe I could go with prayer practices in pandemic, something else that starts with a P. But this is not going to be a repeat of the spiritual practices that we did. Maybe it was 4 or 5 years back. This is specifically going to be ways that you can pray and expand upon your prayer life. So this will range all the way from meditative practices all the way up through things like more physical prayer, so walking prayer or running prayer or hiking prayer. And again, it's not so much that these individual categories exist, but it's how to pray with your body, how to pray with different aspects of your person, right? Emotional, mental, physical, spiritual. And of course, the idea in all prayer is that it's opening yourself up to a conversation with the divine. So that is going to be a 5 session series. So we will hold an evening prayer, and then either myself or Linda will be giving a talk on these different types of prayer and how to access them, and different practices that you can have there, and that will be it. We probably won't be doing soup this year because of COVID, obviously. And I know that's something that you all long for. Hopefully next year we'll bring it back with a vengeance and maybe have like a soup competition or something like that. But I would rather err on the side of caution so that we don't have to go back to any kind of virtual meeting. And it seems like this is a good and careful thing to do. But we will have those evening celebrations again, potentially at 5 p.m. Instead of 7 p.m. And then a couple of things to look forward to, and this is more for our more experienced, mature portion of the congregation. No, that's not entirely true. But one of the things that I'm going to start during Lent, and the idea is to start maybe the second week of Lent, is a return to our Wednesday morning practices. So that used to be a prayer service and a Bible study, and I plan to do the same thing. The plan is to start it out at the church, and then potentially I might move it to a location like the Springs or something like that. I fully intend to. I told a couple people I fully intend to do some kind of Bible study at the Springs going forward. I don't know that it would be an every week thing, but maybe an every other week thing. I'm potentially going to coordinate with Josh Kingsley at King of Kings. He doesn't know it yet, but I know that he's been doing regular events at the Springs as well too. And to all y'all that are at Rose Villa or Willamette View, this isn't meant to exclude all of you. It's just that the majority of our folks are at the Springs right now. However, let me know if this is something that you'd like me to duplicate at a different location. Keep in mind, I only do have so many hours in the week, but if it's something where maybe we alternate or once a month it's at a different location, I'd be open to that idea as well too. Don't want to, like I said, don't want to exclude anybody. But yeah, I think that basically catches us up. Yeah, okay. I got other things that I could talk about, but that isn't immediate or necessary right now. But hope that you have an enjoyable week. Hope that you enjoy the worship this week, and I will see you in person next Sunday and hopefully Saturday as well, 12th and 13th. Blessings. Have a great week.